I know it's here somewhere. Finally. Oh, it's time for the doctor. You're listening to Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. Take it away, Doctor.
Well, it's that time again, and the doctor is in. It's time once again for Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon, which is me. I am Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. In case you're wondering, you know, I'm not like a guest host or something. Like anybody would want a guest host on this show, but at any rate, well, thank you, Fred. Fred's always willing to step in and lend a helping hand. Actually, no, he just wants to take over. Anyway, Fred, in case you aren't aware, is my imaginary friend. You might say, Dr. Bill, you're a little old to have an imaginary friend. He won't go away. I see. Anyway, his comments are displayed upon the screen for those of you that are watching the video netcast. If you're listening to the audio, you're going, what? But at any rate, so this week we have stuff, and I like stuff, particularly if it's fun. And this week we have fun stuff. So, yay. Just a random comment. Yay. We are proud members of the Tech Podcast Network, techpodcast.com. If it's tech, it's right here on Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. We are also proud members of the International Association of Internet Broadcasters. I was about to say it completely the reverse. The Internet Broadcasters Association International. That wouldn't work. My mind just went backwards. Yes, Fred, it does happen occasionally. Anyway, the stuff we have this week, we have a lot. Well, not a lot. Probably just the right amount for a netcast. Anyway, this week there was plenty of geek culture. Now, you know that I love geek culture. Back in the old days of the Dr. Bill show many years ago, when it was just an audio show, we used to do all kinds of audio geek culture. But now that it's video, we don't do it as much for one main reason. A lot of the geek culture that we did that was of the audio variety, if you tried to put it on YouTube, would result in YouTube going, no, you can't do that. Phooey. So, in lieu of that, I have to direct you to various things and let you watch it in the raw, so to speak. Not you in the raw. No. The shows that I reference occasionally. You know, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Anyway, I reference that occasionally, and I also reference Hardware Wars and things of that nature. That's geek culture. Things that geeks are interested in and are part of our core culture as geeks. Yes. And as your humble curator of the Geek Culture Museum, I present these things to you so you'll know what's happening. So, this past week, as I record this, Harley-Davidson. You say, what does that have to do with geeks? Hang in there. Harley-Davidson announced an electric motorcycle. Dude! Now, I'm a big Harley fan. I have owned a Harley. Don't now. Alas. But I've always loved motorcycles in general, and specifically Harleys. Now you might say, Harleys don't go with geeks. What's up with that? Hey, I know plenty of geeks that ride motorcycles, okay? Now, if you take a geek that likes motorcycles and then you tell them that Harley has come up with an electric, all-electric plug-in motorcycle, they're going to go, dude, I want one of those. And I do. Now, so far, Harley has only made, by the way, this is it here. Okay? Harley has only made about 30 of these so far. They're demonstration vehicles to go around the country and see if people will accept them. Because, you know, Harley is mainly known for its sound. There's nothing like the sound of a Harley. People have tried to duplicate it, but it's difficult. And you hear them going, you know, and they just had this sound. Well, an electric motorcycle, you get on it and turn the throttle and it goes, there's no sound. Matter of fact, they say in this article that I reference here on the blog, of course, being Dr. Bill, DRBILL.TV, as it says there on the screen. At any rate, as I say in the blog, this reference to this article, I should say, the article says that you can ride side by side two of these electric Harleys and hold a conversation at highway speeds. How weird is that? But the whole idea that you could get on an electric motorcycle and twist the throttle and go from 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. Dude. Plus it'll go up to like 92 miles per hour. On an electric motorcycle. That's just too cool. I mean, from a geek culture standpoint. So go out there and tell Harley, yes, we want one. Mainly because I want one. And I want them to mass produce them. Which will lower the price down. And it'll be good for all of us. And I'll ride it to work. I'll sneak up on people on my motorcycle. I mean, think how cool it would be to sneak up on people and own a Harley. That's like normally impossible. You know what I mean? Anyway, dude. I just like that idea. Next, geek culture. We got, like I said, several geek cultures this week. NASA unveiled a real-life warp drive ship design. And guess what they called it? Yes, it doesn't take too many guesses, does it? The Enterprise! Because they're geeks there, too. And this is what it looks like. It's very Enterprise-ish. Except for the ring around the ship, you know, kind of thing. But that's okay. We'll give them that. It looks cool, and it says Enterprise. So that's cool, too. So, you know, Matthew Jeffries was the original designer that designed the Enterprise for the original series. And Mark Rademacher and longtime Star Trek graphic designer Michael Okuda came together with NASA engineer and physicist Dr. Harold Sonny White to create the design for this potential warp drive ship that NASA is considering. Dude, I like that idea. A real live warp drive ship. Pretty cool. Now, we've done our geek culture. Well, you know, 2 in a row. So let's go back to what we normally talk about on the Dr. Bill Show, which is just tech. Plain old tech. Okay. This is an interesting little article that I saw actually last night. Do you want to open your Wi-Fi to your neighbors? Now, most of you are saying, well, no, that wouldn't be secure. But what if it could be? What if it could be secure? And what if you could join the movement for ubiquitous Wi-Fi? What's a Wi-Fi? Ubiquitous. It's a word that means everywhere, all at once, all at the same time, everywhere. Pretty much. And that, of course, is what I want. I want Wi-Fi everywhere. I want it beamed from space. I want it beamed from underground caverns. I want it in every car that goes by, at every house, radiating into the wild. Whoa. You might say, why, Dr. Bill? Because if I could get on Wi-Fi anywhere, everywhere, and didn't have to have a hotspot device or a hardwire connection to the internet. If I could just use my devices everywhere, anytime, it would lead to innovation. It would lead to excitement and good times and geekery, much geekery. So I'm for it. Now that means somebody somewhere has got to share their Wi-Fi. Right now you have to purchase a connection to the internet because that's just the way it is. The evil minions of mediocrity are out there forcing us to buy our internet connectivity. It's sad. But at any rate, what if, like me, I have a 30 gigabyte symmetrical connection to the internet here at my house? And probably you don't. But that's okay. Some of us just got it, others don't. I know Fred. Fred keeps saying I'm rubbing it in. Well, yes, maybe I am. But I didn't always have 30 symmetrical internet connectivity. And now that I've got it, anyway. So, somebody like me. Now, all of my neighbors around me have Wi-Fi potentially as well. As a matter of fact, I know they do, because when I open my laptop and see what's available for connection, everybody around here has a Wi-Fi broadcasting. But they're all secured. Good for them. Yes, it's good for them. But, what if, just what if, I turned on my Wi-Fi and made it available to the whole community, and maybe even boosted it a little so that it went out a long distance. And they were just in their house and they flipped open their tablet or whatever and went, whoa, an open connection. Click. Look at that. I have internet. Now you might say, but Dr. Bill, that would open it up to your personal network. They could look at your stuff potentially, particularly if they know what they're doing. Trust me, the people around here, they don't know what they're doing. But it would open it up potentially. But what if there was a software package that you could, firmware that you could put on your router that would keep your network secure while opening up your Wi-Fi to the world for free? And you could join the open wireless movement, as it says there. Okay? Then it might be feasible. So this article talks about this tool that I'm talking about, the firmware, boosts your privacy by opening your Wi-Fi to strangers. What? So, this article by Andy Greenberg in Wired magazine says, in an age of surveillance anxiety, the notion of leaving your Wi-Fi network open and unprotected seems dangerously naive. But one group of activists says it can help you open up your Wi-Fi wireless internet and not only maintain your privacy, but actually increase it in the process. At the Hackers on Planet Earth conference. Now, you know they're a bunch of really weird dudes if they're at a Hackers on Planet Earth conference. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, next month, The Electronic Frontier Foundation plans to release software designed to let you share a portion of your Wi-Fi network password-free with anyone nearby. The initiative, part of the OpenWireless.org campaign, will maintain its own flavor of free open-source router firmware called Open Wireless Router. Good Samaritans can install this firmware on a cheap Wi-Fi router, creating a public slice of bandwidth that can be dialed up or down with a simple smartphone interface. Dude, now I know I'm a bit of a dreamer. I mean, after all, one of my favorite things of late is solar freaking roadways. And everybody, you know, in the comments are all saying, you people are crazy. This is never going to happen. But I'm a dreamer. I'm kind of... Thank you, Fred. Fred says I'm out there. Well, yes, maybe I am. But somebody has to be. Anyway. So, imagine with me, as a dreamer, that everyone opened all of their Wi-Fi all at once, so that no matter where you were, you'd have internet connectivity. The world would be a happier place for us geeks, at least. And we'd be able to just jump on anybody's Wi-Fi anytime we want, without all the tedious mucking about in taking security hacking things. Not that I do that. Want to make that very clear. I know people that do that. I even know how to do that, but I don't do it. That's the difference. See, that's why I'm kind of for the whole idea of an open wireless router software thing that would allow people to do it securely, so that way you're not invading their privacy and taking advantage. You wouldn't be taking advantage because they would be purposely opening it up for people like you and me to enjoy ubiquitous Wi-Fi. Dude. And it would be a happier world. Just saying. No! Fred, of course, since he interrupted me with the Geek Software of the Week, drumroll, has other ideas. You want everybody to be locked out of the internet, don't you, Fred? Thought as much. Fred's a character. Anyway, this week's Geek Software of the Week is Picasa. Now you might say, well, Dr. Bill, I know about Picasa. Google makes Picasa. Well, I had never used Picasa. And I had an occasion to try to get rid of red eye. If you're not familiar with red eye, that's when your flash on your camera is too close to the lens, and it is like a linear thing between you and your subject, so that their eye reflects back, and there's a little red dot. Happens with, you know, like dogs, particularly, and humans as well. Okay. Cats, of course, just look like glowing alien things. It's part of being a cat. I'm pretty sure cats are alien anyway. A super race that's here to take over the world. But that's just me. Anyway, the point is that Picasa has a red eye remover. If you are, maybe you've used Picasa before, but you're not aware that it has a red eye remover, dude, it works really, really well. You tell it, you know, find the red eye, and it goes bleep, and it highlights the eyes where they're glowing. And then you hit a button, bing. Now again, that's Bing as a sound effect, not Bing as the search engine for Microsoft. No. And it just fixes the eye. How amazingly cool is that? So I did that on some of the pictures that I took for my nephew's wedding. Yes. And it was amazingly cool. Now you might say, well, Dr. Bill, why didn't you just use a flash that was mounted up on an arm to get it up high enough you didn't get red eye? Because I didn't have one handy. I just had the flash built into the Canon, my Canon T3. And so I was left with red eye on some of the photos. So Picasa came to the rescue. Hooray! Now, it turns out that Picasa is an image organizer and image viewer for organizing and editing digital photos. Plus, it has an integrated photo sharing website, originally created by a company called Lifescape, which at that time may have resided at Idea Lab in 2002, and was bought out and is owned now by Google since 2004. Picasa, this is an interesting little note here. This is all off of Wikipedia. Picasa is a blend of the name of Spanish painter Pablo Picasso, the phrase mi casa, which is Spanish for my house, and pic for pictures or personalized art. That's kind of cool, actually, to know all the background of how they came up with the name. In July of 2004, Google acquired Picasa from its original author and began offering it as freeware. Yes, it is freeware. And it's amazing and very cool. So that it earns the title this week of Geek Software of the Week. And since they acquired it in July of 2004, that was nearly, next month will be 10 years ago. It's been around a while, okay? But I just have never had personally had a need to use it, okay? So, there you go. Now, it turns out that I skipped an article. I did that once a couple of netcasts ago and never came back to the article that I skipped, which makes it important for you to read drbill.tv, the blog. You should, because sometimes I just skip these articles and you would never hear about any of them. That's a shame. It is. By the way, sorry that I'm a little stuffy this morning. As I do this is a Sunday morning, early. And it seems that when I get up and do these early on a Sunday morning, I don't know what it is, I get a little stuffy. So there's some correlation there that I'm not quite sure of. You know, it's not like I'm coming down with anything. Later in the day, it'll be fine. Which is weird. But anyway. So, Dropcam. This is the one that I skipped. Dropcam was purchased by Google Nest. Now, you remember that Nest, the home automation people, were purchased by Google. So now Nest is owned by Google. And now Nest has bought Dropcam. Now, they didn't just buy a Dropcam like you or I would. They bought the whole company for $555 million. They must really like Dropcams, you know what I'm saying? Now, I say here, would you pay $555 million for a webcam company? Would you? Well, apparently Nest thought it was a good idea. Now, there are conspiracy theorists out there, perhaps like my colleague at work, Jim Bob, not his real name. That's what we agreed that I would call him on the show. He believes Google is the devil and that they're out to take over the world. Maybe already have surreptitiously taken over the world. And because of that, when they do things like this, first they buy a home automation company that's monitoring your house 24/7. Then they buy Dropcam, which has video of your house 24/7. And now they're positioned to know everything about you at all times. And I'm sure he's going, that's right. Yep, that's right. Because Google's the devil. Jim Bob is a very interesting character. Now, I'm not saying Google's not out to take over the world. You understand, okay? Their corporate motto is, don't be evil. Which, if you were out to take over the world and be evil, wouldn't you make your motto, don't be evil? Because that would make everybody think, well, they're not going to be evil. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, that'd be like Microsoft saying their motto was, don't be stupid. And they are. So, there you go. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know whether they are or not. I just know they have cool technology. Like my Nexus tablet, and my Google Chromecast, and my Google Chrome browser, and my Chromebook, and Android on my phone. Which is why Jim Bob says, you have already been absorbed. You have been assimilated. Your technological uniqueness will be added to the collective. I hope not, but anyway. But I like their technology. So this is an interesting little article about the fact that they got Dropcam. Now, I don't have any Dropcams. Don't actually plan to have any. And besides, if they tapped into a Dropcam in my house and saw me in the buff, so to speak, it'd probably break all their receivers. You know what I'm saying? Yeesh. So, I have a built-in security plan there. Alrighty then, enough of that. It's time to say, remember until next time that the doctor is out of here. Dr. Bill, the Computer Curmudgeon, is a production of drbillbailey.net with all the honors, rights, and privileges thereunto appertaining.